Lately, I have been thinking a lot about sin and how the notion is held over Christians' heads to make them feel guilty, keep them coming back and tithing, make them feel broken and in need of a supernatural savior, and how it's wielded against atheists. And to be clear, this is what sin is, a malleable category to serve any purpose the blabbing Christian in question wants it to. So let's look at what is wrong with sin. Hi, my name is Scarlett, and I'm an atheist and skeptic, and lately, I've been looking a lot at sin. The conclusion I've come to is that sin is a marketing category to keep faithful in the pews and tithing, and also to appeal to people who are vulnerable. By the way, I've also been watching a channel called Believe It or Not, and they have also been exploring sin. But the person in question, Trevor, has a higher tolerance for BS than I do, so he has clips of preachers saying all this stuff about sin. And hats off to Trevor, I could not do it. I hate preacher intonations in the best of times. Anyway, let's look again at sin, because you know, we have to. It's talked about all the time. Let's go. To see the topic of sin as a sales pitch, look at Ray Comfort's shtick. Have you ever told a lie? Then you're a liar. Have you ever lusted after a woman in your heart? Then you've committed the thought crime of adultery. Ugh and yuck. Yeah, one action, one thought defines you forever. Hello, Dante. Go look at the Inferno. Same thing. Middle Ages and current times. Right on, man. So first of all, what is sin? The most general definition I can give is this: anything that is displeasing to a god, or anything that does not properly center God, is a sin. According to Judaism and Christianity, sin is baked into who we are as humans because sometimes we think about things that are not God. Like we have a laugh, or we desire another human, or we enjoy our food too much, or we get angry at someone, and on and on. Sin is not exclusively about actions that cause anyone any demonstrable harm, psychological or physical, although, harm is included in the category of sin too, because pretty much everything is. But sin is not exclusively about harm. Note that some of the 10 Commandments, like not coveting, not creating graven images, keeping the Sabbath, like what harm is there in that? Not holding one God above another is a sin, which is funny to me because if sin is displeasing a God, and I don't believe in any God, much less that one is more badass than the others, what is even going on in this sin? I don't know. So needless to say, I don't accept this category called sin. When Christians say to atheists, you just want to sin, the implication is we want to do bad things, be bad people, revel in all that is evil. But if you point out the reality of your life, sin becomes something everyone does. I say I actually don't want to steal, lie, murder, cheat on my spouse, or do anything that hurts people. And if I do hurt people, I want to apologize and try to make amends. So when I look at Christians, I don't notice any difference between mine and their behavior. Well, everyone sins, they'll say. All have fallen short of the glory of God and yada yada and blah 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 and so on and so forth. So if everyone sins, what does my non-believing status even mean? Like, what is this about? Again, I don't accept the category of sin because I don't believe in a God. What I am interested in is what actions actually cause harm and should be limited, and which actions are beneficial and should be encouraged. And finally, which actions are just neutral, so who cares? Do it, don't do it, whatever. Let's take discussions centered on sex, because let's be real, probably when Christians say atheists aren't believers because they want to sin, they mean atheists want to have sex, unapproved sex, and maybe party and drink before having said sex. Okay, so for some Christians, there is an ideal of sex that reflects God's design, supposedly, although it's not really a biblical view, and the examples of marriage in the Bible are not really reflective of this supposed perfect design. But let's not digress too far off. Okay, so sex is supposedly totes awesome sauce if you are a straight, married couple with no icky gender orientations and identities that stray from that path. You apparently don't need any help or guidance in sex because that is just awesome sauce. It will be a God magical because God. Therefore, anything that strays from that notion, whether it causes harm or not, is sin. No masturbation, although there's no biblical basis for that, especially women who don't quote-unquote spill any seed. You know, even that Onan story is not really about masturbation. It's like a totally different thing. Anyway, again, let's not digress too far. So, no one-night stands, no living together without the magical marriage paper, and no heavy petting or kissing in a committed relationship, etc., and absolutely no being with a partner of the same gender at all, because God finds that gross and not all reflective of the Trinity, which is def not a three with three dudes. Gross. Why are you even putting that image in my brain? Anyway, what I'm trying to say is all of that is sin, even though there is no harm in any of that that can be shown or demonstrated. Sure, rape and sexual assault is also a sin, but no differently than having premarital sex because it hurts God's design or something. I have been really shocked to find sexual assault thrown in alongside premarital sex and masturbation as if there is no difference between these. You can say the same kind of thing for other sins like greed or gluttony. There's some right amount of food or gathering of possessions that God has approved and it's his design or whatnot. But step outside of that, man, and it's like Sin City, y'all. And we can lump wanting to play video games and drinking in with gluttony or greed or whichever or whatever makes sense. It hurts God's design. Now, to be clear, there are healthy approaches to sex, food, alcohol, and pretty much everything in life. For me, right and wrong about sex are down to informed consent and being safe about our actions, both protecting against transmission of disease and also communicating if something hurts or feels bad. Food and alcohol are more individual choices around perceived risk and, oh my non-existent Lord, there's already enough judgment and bad messaging around both of these personal issues, so my own recommendations are to keep noses out of other people's glasses and plates unless you are invited to opine about them. As an example, fat people know they're fat, and we may not know why that is the case, and even if it is bad choices, my God, people, shame is not the path to take. Okay, digression over. Basically, I'm trying to say, this isn't a sin. You're falling short of, whatever goals you have, or maybe not. I don't know, but, let's be less judgy. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled program on sin. Basically, it comes down to this. Priests and preachers and every yahoo talking about sin are appealing to any insecurities and doubts we might have about ourselves. As imperfect, finite beings, we make mistakes. We are wrong at times. We harm people and ourselves without meaning to. The real way forward is not to feel ashamed of some nature over which we have no control. It is to address the mistakes, right the wrongs, apologize, and make whatever steps to be better. We should give ourselves a little slack because we are imperfect beings. There was this Enlightio site with 56 questions for atheists that I recently examined, and there was one, do you believe that humans are inherently good or bad? I reject that dichotomy. Humans are inherently finite beings with imperfect knowledge about the universe. Actions can be good, bad, or neutral. Christianity teaches that humans are bad and can only become good with the grace of God. Judaism says humans are inclined toward the bad and need discipline to move toward the good. With a dose of animal sacrifice thrown in for good measure, hey, who needs more turtle doves, for example? At least in Judaism, people who cause harm are encouraged to right the wrongs they've done, around Yom Kippur time. Anyway, a lot of Christianity is just ask God for forgiveness and hope for his grace. Christianity does not encourage us to make the world a better place because it says we can't. Everything bad is sin. War, sin. People shooting up everybody, sin. People doing anything wrong, sin. There's nothing we can do to make it better. The early Christians thought the world was ending any 5 minutes now. So what was the point? And I think today's Christians aren't any better. By the way, sin is another thing Christians don't agree on. Christians have premarital sex, get divorced, overeat, drink, get angry, and on and on. And they all have their reasons why their God is okay with whatever they're doing. Okay, but what it comes down to is this. Sin is part of the sales pitch. Like making you feel shame about body odor to sell you deodorant. Or are you concerned about the weeds in your front lawn? Buy our lawn chemicals. Or, hey, are you insecure about your sex appeal? Well, hey, let's just sell you pretty much anything. You're sinful, you do bad things, and you are just shameful as a person. Buy our product, Jesus Christ. He will repair all that. And guess what? You don't have to do anything to change. Just tithe and spend a few nights at this building listening to this guy yammer on and tell you about sin. God will love you for it and let you into the joys of heaven. Call now and we'll throw in a halo at no extra charge. Just pay shipping and handling. Don't buy it. The way to be a better person is start being a better person. Worry about what causes harm and correct it. Probably you're fine anyway, doing lots of good things and lots of neutral things. And if I'm wrong, maybe God should come down and sort it out. Maybe give us a clear message that it even exists, this sin thing, and what we're supposed to do about it. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below. What do you think this sin pitch is about? And while you're down there, you can like and subscribe and do all the YouTube stuff. You're on YouTube. You know what to do. And if you like what I do, you can buy me a coffee. Link is in the description below. And I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.